Helsa, there's a subject that I wish to deal with, and it's a subject within Wotanism that very few actually ever get a chance to experience or to learn, and that is what is known as transcendence, or evolving, or an upward journey. And within Wotanism, there is really two types of people. There are those people who will embrace Wotanism, and they will only experience the physical aspects of it. There are some of those who will join Wotanism and they will spend years and years studying to only realize that they really haven't learned nothing at all. And then there's that small core group within Wotanism or Odinism. And this is the group that I wish to address. When we become Wotanist or Odinist, we learn the basics. And some of us never are able to get beyond the basic. We get stuck there. And some of us, when we come into Wotanism or Odinism, and we start reading the myths, and we start communicating with the gods outside of the regular bloat days, outside of just putting the hammers on, raising the horns. Some of us seek to transcend the norm. We seek to gain a higher insight into the mind, matters of the mind, universal mind, or universal outlook, and even to some extent the universal mind. And we begin to delve within the myths. And when we read the myths, Volupsa, the creation of man, the death of Balder, Loki, Wotan hanging on a tree, or even studying and learning about the runes, we try to look deeper than just that physical aspect. And these are the people who can really be called the vanguard and the safeguard of the secret knowledge that the gods and the goddesses and that our ancestors handed us. You know, you can put a hammer on, but yet you can put a hammer on with a basic understanding of what it is. Or you can put one on with the understanding that by you wearing that, you begin to transcend the basic understanding of it. One of the biggest things that we see is people talking about studying of the runes. We know that Wotan studied and learned the runes upon his hanging on the tree. And we know that each rune opened up a new door of knowledge. And when we begin to delve within this type of knowledge, this transcending knowledge, we begin to take a journey that in many cases will be a lonely journey, because it's something that a person really can't teach us. The only way that we can learn is if we're like Wotan and we're willing to sacrifice ourselves. Means to sacrifice that base knowledge to gain a higher knowledge. And this is the knowledge that protects the tribes. It protects our heritage. Because for those of us who have started down this path, and we've started down the path of enlightenment, that Wotan consciousness, we understand that we don't seek to be like our gods. We seek to become them. We seek to become that true nature of self that we were meant to. We can learn the runes. We can learn all 24 of them. We can learn their definitions on them. We can do all this. But to truly understand the runes and to truly learn the guide or the roadmap to this type of knowledge, we have to not only learn the runes, but we have to apply the runes, but we also have to be willing to accept what the runes tell us. We have to be willing to acknowledge what they're telling us. But sometimes we get so caught up on our own understanding, and we get caught up on the base understanding of books and listening to teachers. All this stuff is good, but it's not good enough for the one who wishes to transcend all of this. And I've spoken on this before, and I've talked about how you have two types of knowledge within Wotanism and Odinism. You have the physical and you have the spiritual. The physical is that which you learn from books or you learn from the mouths of teachers. But the spiritual, this is something that only the gods can teach us. But we have to be willing to listen. And more than just listen, we have to be willing to commune with the gods. We have to be willing to travel that lonely road and study the runes and meditate deeply on each one of them and learn what is it that the runes are trying to teach us. What is it that our ancestors were trying to teach us? What is it that the gods whisper to us? And for the brothers and the sisters who have truly studied, they understand that the gods and the goddesses don't talk to us just in books. They talk to us in the wind. They talk to us in the water, the air, glancing up at the stars. But we have to be willing to listen and put away our egos, put away our base desires, and put away all obstacles and hindrance that would block us. And more so, we have to be willing to walk alone. Because on this journey of transcendence, nobody can walk with us. It's a journey that we have to walk alone. Just like Wotan hanging on the tree. He had to hang on that tree by himself. And when we study about the death of Balder, we learn that Balder faced his death on his own. He didn't ask for help. Nobody could help him. So it becomes a lonely journey. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want to travel this journey. Because on this journey, they'll have no one to blame. They'll have no one to point the finger at. And a lot of people do not want to travel this road because it is a road of self-reflection. In order for us to become the gods that we were meant to be, we have to first be willing to overcome the demons that we have become. And we overcome them by studying the runes, studying the myths, and going into the myths. And rather than using the myths as a correction tool, we use the myths as a roadmap to perfection. When we study Valhalla, we see that the soldiers, the people in Valhalla, will wake up and they will repeat the fighting. on a base level, some people can look at that as meaning they will literally wake up and repeat a physical battle where they will fight against each other. On a spiritual level, a person can look at that same myth and say that they will wake up every day of their life and they will have to battle over and over and over to become the person that they were meant to be. So for all of us who have chosen to take that journey, study the runes, really get into the runes, meditate on them, talk to the gods and goddesses. And for those of us who have decided to take that journey, be willing to look at yourself. Be willing to acknowledge the demons within yourself and realize that you will have to face these demons over and over and over, just like in Valhalla, until you have conquered them. For all those brothers and sisters who have chosen to make that journey, I raise a horn and I ask that the gods and the goddesses grant you what it is that you seek. With that, Helsa, Hail Gallows Tree, and hail the gods and the goddesses. Hail.